enforcing discipline in the ranks,
We teach them that they have to be responsible for their own actions.
marching slowly on the path to sobriety,
In each one of these guys, I see a little bit of me.
dishing out nourishment and encouragement.
They are my brother.
At the New England Shelter for Homeless Veterans, the battles are personal. Yesterday's soldiers come here for comfort.
I felt wanted here.
Today's for inspiration.
It does my heart proud to be able to give back to those that have already contributed to our great nation.
These are people who are fighting for their lives.
The fight of their lives. Next on Chronicle.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hello. Good morning.
6 a.m. and reveille arrives in the person of Robert Stoney Burke.
Good morning, Phil.
A former Marine in charge of some 150 residents at the New England Shelter for Homeless Veterans.
If you want to change your linen, do it now.
Stoney makes sure they follow the rules and get what they need,
Like a breath of springtime.
from fresh linens to legal and mental health support.
There's a cheerful face. The reason I do it, and I'm not doing it for money, obviously, but it's because of that commitment I made 30 years ago to people that I was with. And I know that they would want me to do what I'm doing now because they'd be doing it themselves. How you doing, big guy?
Burke, a Boston native, was a minor league pitching prospect when he left high school. He served 23 months in Vietnam, a tour cut short by a rocket-propelled grenade.
I like the jammies. When we came in through Laos, and that's where I got hit. They sent an RPG through the window when I came out of a sewer, and I didn't get out as fast as the other guys did, so it took part of my right side off and put shrapnel on my head and hand. End of baseball career.
Following the war, a difficult odyssey. Teacher, businessman, cocaine addict, recovered addict. His is one of the thousands of stories woven into the fabric of this place. The largest shelter in the country, set up specifically for men and women who have served in the armed forces.
We teach them that they have to be responsible for their own actions, and we've had a lot of success stories. We've had people that have opened up their own businesses, people who got their lives together, people who brought their families together, who reintroduced themselves to their children. And those are the positive things. That's what keeps you going.
Veterans have come here looking for safe haven and a fresh start since 1990, when the shelter opened in this building on Court Street, a stone's throw from Boston's City Hall. It can house as many as 450 residents, many of whom have fought in our nation's wars. These days, most fight a more personal battle.
You know, most of us, if you're anything like me, you beat up, you know, and I don't have to beat myself up anymore.
3 out of 4 of the shelter's clients engage in the struggle to stay off the bottle and drugs in meetings like this sobriety skills class.
I'm Miss Boone, addict and recovered. I will give thanks to my higher power for giving me a day sober, another day sober.
Workshop leader and former Navy Petty Officer Joe Bell was once a shelter resident.
I'm 58. That was 40 years of alcohol and drug abuse, mostly drugs. And I didn't know any other way to live except the life of a drug addict.
Nearing rock bottom and homeless, he came here and attended daily AA meetings. Today, Bell is clean and sober.
Getting out of here, we got tools of learning to trust people. Just like you guys, I couldn't trust nobody. It's still hard, but I do have to if I want to deal with society.
Bell now studies substance abuse counseling at Bunker Hill Community College, looking to give back what he received and still receives, the support of fellow veterans.
I get reinforcement. Because they're saying the same thing I said when I got in here. This morning a guy was being interviewed by one of the heads of the departments, and I'm saying, that's me. You know, in each one of these guys I see a little bit of me, and that reinforces my sobriety.
I think we're all going to be okay. We did this together. I'm always going to look back on it as something really good in my life.
Like a recovering addict, the shelter has had to take its own moral inventory the last few years. In 2003, the utility N-Star threatened to cut power to the place if it didn't pay its long overdue electric bill. The incident initially brought public support for the shelter. including a $10,000 personal donation from Governor Mitt Romney. Later, state auditors discovered that internal mismanagement was the cause of many of the shelter's financial problems. With the help of a new board and a new management team, the shelter has cleaned up its act, says CEO Lawrence Fitzmaurice.
And we've seen progress being made, and we will continue to see progress being made. These things that have happened in the past were unfortunate. I don't believe there was any malfeasance involved, but it was sloppy bookkeeping. That's true. What we would like to see happen now is just to move all that forward very positively, and that is already occurring.
The goal now, shelter workers say, is to get the focus back where it belongs, on these veterans who have fallen on hard times.
These are the same guys that you grew up with. They were your brothers, your uncles, and sisters. We have female veterans in here as well. There are going to be future conflicts, and there's going to be future trauma that people are going to have to work their way through. They need this institution.
Shortly after we filmed this program, Stony Burke left the shelter. He moved to Honduras, a country he's visited often, where he plans to live full-time and set up an export business. He also plans to set up a work program there to provide a second chance for veterans who live at the New England shelter. Still to come, a blues man finds a home.
Coming up later, a Memorial Day pilgrimage.
I think these guys and women that are in here shouldn't be forgotten.
Coming up next, down but not out. Stephen Wing's story.
I feel like everyone's big brother. I enjoy helping people.
Up next, singing the blues.
Spanish captioning underwritten by Hummer. Hummer, like nothing else.
You're watching Chronicle with Peter Mahegan, Mary Richardson, Ted Reinstein, and Mike Barnacle. Chronicle, New England's nightly news magazine.
Soldiers are trained to carry on in wartime despite the very real possibility of injury or death. For Stephen Wing, though, the test is coming in peacetime. The former Coast Guardsman has come to the New England shelter for homeless veterans with a heavy burden to bear. But he's found he doesn't have to bear it alone.
Hey, guys. What's up?
It's mid-afternoon, and Stephen Wing is doing what he does best, making his comrades at the shelter feel at ease.
I feel like everyone's big brother. I enjoy helping people. So I got involved with the intake program and handling some of our harder cases, senior citizens or handicapped or actual street people that have been on the streets for years. What's up?
Wing has a job here, helping run one of the floors for Stony Burke.
We take all the responsibilities on the floor. Anyone needs anything, any problems. We have cleanup schedules we make up and, run deck cleanup and run the TV room, take votes on what do we want to watch or, everything's democratic. We try to be. And that way I feel I'm helping. I keep myself busy. Nothing's really strenuous. Keep myself busy. The time goes by a lot faster, and you're not thinking about yourself. Hi, sweetie. How are you? Good, thanks. Good, thanks. I want to take a treatment.
It helps to stay distracted. Wing, a former Coast Guardsman, is terminally ill with lung cancer and heart problems. He's at the shelter because his illness keeps him from holding down a job.
I've been in the hospital up to 7 weeks now, here and there. It's usually every other week I end up with a bout of pneumonia. The immune system isn't working as well. I have allergies to medications, especially antibiotics, so that can be a problem in itself. That can kill you.
Wing, who has been at the shelter for 6 months, is hoping to save some money here, enough to afford an apartment in Rockland where he used to live.
My hope was to be out of here months ago. It's just trying to find a place. I want the same area I came from. And to save money, it's very hard, especially when you're on a fixed income.
Whether he finds a place or not, the shelter has become home.
I call them my brothers, and when I say it, I actually mean it. There isn't a day I don't go by and hi, I walk by and how are you today and how are you feeling, and I do. I feel like they're my family, an extended family.
It's a family that opens its doors for days or months, if need be, to any veteran on the street. But there are strict rules: no drugs, no alcohol, and no violence. Those who can't stay in line are sent to other shelters, but can reapply to come back. For many current clients, the New England shelter is a life-saving last resort.
It's the best place I've been, but it's also it's a place where you feel I felt wanted, you know. I felt wanted here, you know. For a lot of years I isolated, you know, ran across the whole country, and you know, I'm 51 years old and trying to get my life together.
This shelter here is the place where you can come where, like, if you're in the service, it's hard to come back out and start back over again, you know, especially when there's nothing there for you.
Going way back home, I'm gonna grab my old gal suit.
The shelter's music program helps residents find self-expression. Sean Ruiz, a Gulf War Army veteran originally from New York, has been here 9 months. In that time, he helped create the program.
There's so much to consider when you come into a place like this at this time or at that time in your life. You know, there's a lot of traumatic events occurring, and at least to have somewhere to go where you can have the ability to express yourself.
Chains for copper every night, just plain old kidney stew.
Anyone musically inclined is welcome to jam with the band. Local blues singer and World War II veteran Weepin' Willie Robinson is a resident here, one of several seniors who stay at the shelter.
It helps. It helps because you don't have nothing else but that.
For Rick Wesley, playing music has been like therapy, a way to build self-esteem as he tries to build back his life.
This music program specifically, as far as I'm concerned, has helped me tremendously. 99% of the guys that are up in here, they're not just sitting on their duffs. These are people who are fighting for their lives. They're getting out there and they're trying to do something with their lives. Just because we took a bad turn somewhere doesn't make us bad people.
Just plain old kidney stew.
Boston's music community is banding together to help find a new home for Weepin' Willie Robinson. There will be a benefit concert July 10th at Club 58 in Quincy. Check our website, thebostonjournal.com, for more information. And if you have any musical gear you've outgrown, Sean Ruiz, who runs the music program, says the shelter would welcome any donations. For shelter contact information, check out our website. Still ahead, memories on Memorial Day.
Tomorrow on Chronicle, the main streets and back roads of Stowe, Vermont. Coming up next, a visit from the Air Force.
You just want a hot dog? Absolutely. You want two?
It's early June. Personnel from Hanscom Air Force Base serve a cookout to the shelter's residents.
Oh, I'm excited about it. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, and it does my heart proud to be able to give back to those that have already contributed to our great nation.
Next, the national anthem. But for all the rousing patriotism, the shelter is in a struggle to make ends meet. Grants that once funded job training programs have been cut. Budget restrictions mean constant staff turnover among counselors and other essential personnel.
It's a common living area. We have Jordans that donates the leather furniture to us.
Vinnie Maloney, the second in command here, leads the Air Force crew on a tour, explaining how the place tries to get a lot done with limited resources.
I would say that 99.9% of our computer equipment is donated.
There's a clothing store where the items are free and a medical unit where staffers donate their time.
It's a non-profit. We don't pay salaries such as the for-profit on the outside. I think you have to have a different makeup to work here. You can't be thin-skinned, and you need to just put your nose to the grindstone and get the job done. And that's rewarding in itself.
Ed Turk agrees. It's his job to feed the residents 3 meals a day and to keep the menu fresh.
I have 25 years military experience running garrison dining facilities, and I've taken that experience and used what people like.
Tonight, it's a seafood combo with shrimp, scallops, and vegetables.
It's very important to put out good food, because if a lot of these guys come in here, they have a lot of problems, they have a lot of issues, and if you can make one guy happy, if you can make their day a little brighter by giving them something that they like, that picks them up. It means a lot. These are my fellow soldiers, and for the grace of God, I could be on the other side of the serving line. It's just a very fine line between of having and not having. And they are my brothers.
It's a brotherhood that shelter residents put into action. On the weekend before Memorial Day, Stony Burke brings a handful of residents to the new Calvary Cemetery in Mattapan to place flags at the headstones of veterans.
Mr. Chamblick, thank you for your service. I think these guys and women that are in here shouldn't be forgotten. They shouldn't be just a headstone. I mean, they did a little extra that nobody else did. I'm sure that the guys that are in Fallujah right now might be doing this for me in 20 years, if I've got 20 years. And it's that brotherhood image that makes you feel that the fraternity will go on. There'll always be people here that'll put themselves out for their country.
Well, the shelter has attracted some interesting donors over the years. When Cher was in town once for a concert, her limo got stuck in traffic outside the shelter. We're told when she saw the building sign, she sent one of her aides in with a check for $5,000. Bruce Springsteen called the shelter personally to make a contribution. The person who took the call thought it was a joke, but Springsteen convinced the man he was indeed the boss and made a sizable donation. Chronicle will be back after this break.
Coming up Monday on Chronicle, poker anyone?
This new Center 5 update is brought to you by Cadillac.
Tomorrow at 7:30, up and away over Vermont's Green Mountains to the postcard-perfect village of Stowe, where cider is made the old-fashioned way and jacuzzis aren't complete without a waterfall. The main streets and back roads of Stowe, Vermont, tomorrow on Chronicle.
And that's Chronicle for tonight. Mary has the evening off. I'm Peter Mehegan. Thanks for joining us, and good night.
It's very comfortable out there now, but it's soon going to be time to turn up the heat. I'll let you know just how hot it's going to get and how quickly the hot weather is going to move in. That's on News Center 5 after the game.
I'm crazy about you, baby, but I just can't pay the price.